So I'm back to finish explaining my kundalini activation experience. I don't know how many of you have had this experience, and if you have, you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you probably aren't going to understand, so bear with me. What happened to me, or what happened, I keep saying to me, I mean for me, because it was a gift. It was a real gift. But what happened for me is that I got to experience heaven on earth. And it is beautiful. It is all around us. But the way I experienced it was a perception change. And one really profound moment, I had these profound moments when I purged any negative emotions or traumas. I would have these amazing experiences afterwards of pure bliss and what felt like ecstasy. I've never done ecstasy, but apparently it was like ecstasy. It was so euphoric and so mystical and magical and spiritual. And one of the most strangest things happened. I was lying on the ground. After I had purged out some trauma and broke away a few bits and pieces of trauma. I did that by dancing a lot too. Music and dance were my thing. And I would just move it out of my body, because at the end of the day, we're all just energy, and it's just energy, negative energy trying to come out and work through your body. And after this one day, this experience, I was lying on the floor and I could see this outline of this man. It's like I couldn't see facial features. I couldn't see. It was almost like looking into the sun and then looking away. Like that kind of visualization, if I can try and paint a picture. It was like I saw this outline of this man above me. And I'm staring at it and I'm trying to make out what it is. And I just couldn't make out what it was, other than the fact it looked like an outline of a man. And I don't know who it could have been. It could have been God, could have been Jesus, could have been my twin flame, could have been anything. And next thing I know, I just happened to turn my head as I'm lying down, and there's a spider coming straight for my head. And I'm shit scared of spiders, always have been. I'm even more so scared of them now. But I jumped up and I was like, I went to run for the spray to kill it. Whatever. Sorry, my brain just went foggy. And then I stopped from killing it, and I looked at it and I'm like, this is a test for fear. And the universe is going to see what I'm going to do here. Instead of killing the spider, I stopped and I said to it, it would have looked crazy to the average person, but I looked at it and I said, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. And it stopped in its tracks and it looked at me. I think it looked at me. Its body faced me, and it got back on its back legs and was like this at me. And I am not joking. I heard the spider scream. Now, that's going to sound completely insane. And I've done a bit of research on this now. Because I was vibrating so high, my frequency was on such a high level in this moment, I actually heard the vibration of the spider. I didn't hear it scream. I heard its vibration. And all of a sudden, I wasn't scared of the spider anymore. And I became one with the spider. It was like a mother and a child's relationship. I was all of a sudden really like concerned for it, really concerned for its well-being. Instead of killing it, I actually saved it and put it outside. I've never done that in my life. I've always killed spiders because they're so scary. And well, the old me used to do that. I actually can't kill anything now. Like, it's just stuck with me that I can't do that now. And I put it outside, and I was so worried for its well-being that I'd scared it so much that, because it started running away from me, and I was like, no, like, come here. Like, it would have looked crazy, I know that, but this was my experience, and I became one with something else, with nature. I became one with nature. I've never had that before in my life. And so I put it outside, and then after that, I went outside, and it wasn't the greatest of days. It was quite grey, and I think it was about to rain, and it was a bit cold. But I walked outside to go to my parents, because by this stage I was living out of home. And I just remember looking up at the trees, and the trees were swaying in the wind, and it sounded like wind chimes. The air smelt sweet. The colours were vibrant. And I just was like, is this what heaven on earth is like? Like, is this, like, what am I experiencing right now? I had no idea at the time. I was just like blown away by what I was seeing and hearing and feeling and all the rest. And it was just so profound. And that's just one of the experiences that I had. Another one, I really one day experienced heaven on earth. Like, again, excuse me, the colors of the trees were bright and vibrant. The air was warm. Everything looked golden, and like it had that gold tinge to everything. Like, it was warm, like, the golden light that you get at about 5 o'clock or whatever time that you're in, like when it's just about to get dark and you've got that golden sunlight. It's like it was beaming everywhere. And I went and saw my son, because at this time my son got taken off me. So I went and visited my son with my parents, and as I was walking there, because I'm in walking distance, thankfully, as I'm walking there, I could feel the density of negative energy in people. And it was like, this is where, like, I could start to read energy and, like, basically read people's thoughts just by their energy. It was so profound. And so I got to the point where I was almost like levitating. Like, I was almost feeling like I could levitate. And I didn't levitate, but I started to get really tingly hands, and my dad had a really bad back at the time, And I said, Dad, sit back. I want to try and see if I can heal you, because I just had this feeling that I had these healing abilities all of a sudden. And I was so present with God and Jesus and whoever else. Like, I was just so in tune and connected that I started to get these healing powers, I believe anyway. And this kept happening. I just kept having these moments of pure bliss and harmony and joy and love. Like, I experienced unconditional love with myself, with nature, with my partner, like with my son. It was like I could telepathically communicate with my son, because he was so young at the time. He still can't speak, but yeah, like I could tell what he needed. Like, a mother's intuition, like we've got that, but this was more intense. Like, he was quite a bit like unsettled on the change table, and I just looked at him and he calmed down, and I could tell that the change table was too cold for him, which is why he was unsettled. And so, like, had to fix all that up, got it all warm, and he was fine. But these are just some of the things that I got to experience. Like, you just wouldn't read about it. You don't read about it. I know there's other kundalini activation videos, and everyone's experience is different. But this is my experience. This is what I got to experience. And I get all like shaky when I talk about this, because I feel like I start vibrating high, because it's like I'm living my truth, speaking my truth, being my authentic self, which is the highest vibration compared to love. Apparently, this is what I've learned on documentaries and things like that. But I've done nothing but watch documentaries and interviews and stuff like that on YouTube and Gaia and all of that since this has happened, because I had to figure out what the hell happened for me. Like, what? Because it did, to the average person, it looked psychotic, but it wasn't. And yeah, I got put into a psych ward, and they told me I had bipolar. I don't have bipolar. I had a spiritual awakening. I'm still on a community treatment order for it, but that's just the matrix trying to keep me asleep and keep me down. But I'm working through it. Once the goggles are off, they're off. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You know what I mean? I'll leave it there for now. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below. I will be happy to make another video to answer your questions. And another video on some more experiences that I had. Oh, one last thing. I became a mathematical magician. I've never, ever, 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 ever been good at maths. I was into my numerology. I was doing, I was like I kept having synchronicities as well. I kept seeing 44. And that was actually I should have actually started with this. 44 was what kind of stood out to me. That was my first synchronicity that I saw before all of this started happening. I'd see 44 absolutely everywhere, to the point I actually told it to fuck off. I'm very sorry, angels. Now I'm very sorry. But it was so frustrating. I was like, why do I keep seeing 44? In the most strangest of places as well. Like, I remember I was scrolling on Facebook, and this girl's phone was lit up on in a photo on, like, next to her. And it said 5:44. And I was like, what the hell? And then at one point I had 44 likes, 44 comments, or something like that. And I just was like, this is just outrageous. Like, what is 44 trying to tell me? Now I understand what it means. But that was my first real synchronicity that I noticed. But yeah, there's so much more to this, but I'm getting a bit worked up and I need to ground myself again because I can get a bit woo. Yeah, I'll keep it there for now. All right, leave a comment in the comment section below if you would like to know more. Okay, bye guys.